Yes.
But first, we are going to continue the conversation.
Yep.
If you tuned in yesterday, right here to Extra Shot, we went in on the 2 class action lawsuits filed against LuLaRoe. Do you want to give a background one more time on what LuLaRoe is?
Sure. Okay, I'm getting my notification that
Yeah,
we're live on Facebook.
Is that what that was?
So LuLaRoe is a online company,
Yes.
an online company, and they sell merchandise like clothing, different articles of clothing, leggings, sweaters, shirts, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And they are basically one of those companies that you buy merchandise as a seller, and then you sell that merchandise back on your social media accounts, or you host parties or whatnot. But they have a series of representatives all across the country, and then through their reps is how their merchandise then gets out in the world, then it gets sold, and then the reps make the money. So what's happening is there are a ton of people in the last couple of years who have really taken to these types of jobs and to these types of positions where it's makeup or clothes or different articles that you can sell on your social media pages.
And the whole point, comfort of in your own home.
Yep.
That's the greatest part, is that, okay, you can leave your job or you can work out of your house, but
Right.
it's a ton of work that goes into it.
And that's their whole mission, is that they're saying people who feel like they want to have the independence to work from home, be your own boss, set your own schedule, this type of lifestyle is for you. And also, there was a woman yesterday who posted that she was able to start working for LuLaRoe because she has a disabled child at home and didn't want to leave the child during the day. And so it really does cater to the working parent who wants to be able to set their own schedule.
And you're familiar with this. You're a guy, but you're very familiar.
Well, it's very, this is a very popular business plan, okay? It's called multi-level marketing.
Right.
And just because it's multi-level marketing does not mean that it is, in fact, a pyramid scheme and that it's illegal or necessarily bad.
Yeah.
However, the way that certain ones are structured, if most of the money that you will make if you're involved with this business is set up by recruiting other people to work under you, that may be a multi-level marketing business plan that it doesn't pass the legal standard. So there's a bunch of different things, and many of these companies over the years, you don't hear about it, then all of a sudden it blows up, it's everywhere. Your friends are constantly trying to say, hey, do you want to make money? It's always about making money. It's not necessarily, the product's fine. Do you want to make money, work from home, set your own hours? So they really sell the idea of empowering yourself by you're making money and the product's good, your friends will like it, but you're going to buy independence. You're going to make money, you're going to have more time for yourself. That's attractive to anybody.
Sure, especially right now, the state of entrepreneurship,
Exactly.
right?
Especially on social media. Now, Instagram, you go on Instagram and people are selling tummy teas, hair products, clothes,
Knives.
shoes, knives,
Mascara,
lip
everything.
plumper, skin cream.
Skin
so
cream.
it's now open playing field for entrepreneurs.
And the big update we have today is that, so yesterday there was a lawsuit, or a couple days ago, there was a class action lawsuit filed, 2 different plaintiffs filing against LuLaRoe, saying that the company really encouraged them to spend more money on merchandise than they could sell. So their argument was that they were pushed to do things like max out credit cards, take out loans. Some even claimed that they had to sell breast milk to make money. Not that the company told them to, but maybe that they could have been advised by someone. At least in the lawsuit, that's what's claimed. And so we found out that these 2 plaintiffs have Sacramento connections. So we were able to send our reporters out yesterday and interview them. So should we toss to that sound now?
Yeah, let's hear from them.
Okay.
You feel kind of at first like, what could I have done to make this successful? We did everything we could. I mean, we worked our butts off. They need to be held accountable for, what they did.
Ta-da, we're here.
There's a camera issue, but you guys can still hear us, so we'll carry this story along.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a 27-page lawsuit. It's been filed again by Sacramento, people from Sacramento. We just heard from them there, and now LuLaRoe has responded. Correct?
Yep.
And so here are some of the leggings that you see. We can't even see them on the screen. Okay, we're back on.
I was like, I don't know what we're doing. Okay. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to get
Okay,
to the
now
part.
one of the things that they say is look at this. Each one of these pink dots is a distributor. That means that individual has spent up to $5,000 just to get started. And one of the issues that they have is that there's so many people in one area. I mean, how many potential customers are there really that are looking for something like this? So then they're stuck with all of this inventory.
Right.
I mean, $5,000 to start off is a number that they claim that they had to pay just to get started.
Right.
Right.
And then your bonuses are weighed in by how much inventory you buy, not how much you sell. Okay, that's a red flag. And also how many people you recruit to work under you. And the way a pyramid works is that the people at the top, there are very few, they make most of the money, and everybody else is kind of spending money so that you're making money. So
the goal is to keep recruiting so that you make it to the peak of the pyramid?
Yes, and let me tell you a couple side stories. My sister's been pulled into a lot of these, and she's always really excited about it because she might like the product, and then she's asking some friends, hey, do you want to like come to this party? You want to do this thing?
Pressure.
And it all starts from a sincere, I like this, you would like this too, and we can make money. Is there a way to make this work? And a lot of them didn't work out. And then you just see it, I mean, it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. And you just, what it is that if you've got a great product, we'll buy it. But you don't want to see your friends and family get stung by this, where now they're stuck, and actually now they're out a bunch of money
And the
when they
blame
wanted
comes
the
back to
opposite,
you.
and they've alienated a lot of friends and family. That's the other thing. How many of you have felt pressure from friends or family to go to these events, to come on board, and you want to help them, but they're caught up in a situation where they're actually trying to recruit their way out of their debt. So you see a lot of people hurt by this. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, they've got a whole page on this explaining exactly data-wise how many people that this impacts. They say it's something, I don't know the exact number, but it's something like 98% of people don't make any money. In fact, they go into debt.
And then
So
there are some of those
the
who
odds are stacked
have
against you.
success stories.
With with those stories, and I'm sure people, and please, if you have a success story, put it in the comments below. There's a lot of people that they got in on the ground floor for a company that did well, and they were able to recruit, and people were happy with it, and they made a lot of money, and they found that financial empowerment through one of these business schemes. But many people don't.
Yeah.
Can I go ahead and say what the LuLaRoe
Yes, because
reps
they
are saying?
respond.
They responded. So now we have it. Our success has made us the target of orchestrated competitive attacks and predatory litigation. We take all litigation, regardless of its lack of merit, seriously. They go on to say we have not been served with the recent complaints, but from what we have seen in media reports, the allegations are baseless, factually inaccurate, and misinformed. We will vigorously defend against them and are confident that we will prevail.
Okay.
So they're coming
that's
back.
a bold
Okay,
statement.
that is.
It's very bold. But and again, stuff like this, you just have to wait to see how it plays out, especially considering the fact that people who have been successful in the company are going to speak up and they're going to defend their position in what they've been doing to say, hey, I invested money, I worked my butt off, and I made $200,000 versus someone who's like, hey, I spent $8,500, I still have all of these clothes, and I can't get any money back or any responses. So I think this is going to be a back and forth for a minute.
And yesterday I told you guys about I have a girlfriend who works for LuLaRoe. She's a rep, and she said that she was waiting on several boxes of clothing, of merchandise that she ordered from them. It was supposed to arrive on October 29th, and she still hadn't had it as of today and yesterday.
Not October 29th. But
August.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I was like, wait, it's on the 27th.
August 29th. So she was supposed to receive it on August 29th,
Okay,
thank
okay.
you, and it still hadn't come. She spent $8,400, $8,400 worth of merchandise. That's just
crazy.
She would have made a pretty penny, she thought, but then she just updated me yesterday. She said, this whole time I thought that I was making a profit. I essentially broke even. She said, it showed that I had $46,000 in sales in a year, but I didn't make a penny. She said that all the money that she put forward, as well as buying the hangers for the clothes and the racks for the clothes and the time that it takes, she's not, it might appear like you might be making money based on their sheet that shows you, well, if you're selling this article of clothing for $20 but you only spent $10, then you're making $10 on it. But in reality, there are other costs associated with it as well. So her
Shipping.
personal
Hidden
experience, she has done this for more than a year now, and in her personal experience, she said she felt like she was gambling. She felt like she was taking a risk. She was putting money out there, not knowing how much she would get back.
But isn't that business?
And some will
Isn't
argue,
that what you sign up
yes,
for?
some will argue that when you sign up to be a business owner, when you sign up for an LLC,
entrepreneur.
when you're doing your own venture as an entrepreneur, there's risk associated with it. But what the class action lawsuit claims is that these women were encouraged to spend a buy-in of at least $5,000 when they believe the company knew it's so saturated with so many sales reps that there was no way they were going to sell all that clothing.
But
That there was no way.
do you blame the company?
And let me play devil's advocate, because if I know that there are multiple people in my area that are selling something similar, I'm already going to go in and thinking, okay, I don't know how I'm going to sell the same product differently than all of these other people. So I can invest as much money as I want into it. I can pound the pavement. But if Shelly, Janine, and Cindy right down the street from me are all selling the same thing, and that's just on my block, who am I really going to sell it to?
But didn't you mention that there are only a certain amount of people who can be involved in a given area?
It just depends on how it's set up. But what you often hear is that there's only so many in a certain region. You know, for a distributor or a franchise, you know, they don't want to oversaturate. They want to make sure that they're not going to cannibalize their customers. It sounds like this horrible word, but basically there's only a certain pool. Now the reps are competing against each other to steal customers. That's not good for business, because then they ruin their relationship, because you want to, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So they want to all do well, where people like the product, the distributors are making money. But here's the thing, you talked about risk.
Yeah.
Guess who doesn't really have a whole lot of risk at all?
The
LuLaRoe.
business.
LuLaRoe.
Totally.
Because
Well,
they
and
have
any
people
company like this,
they have people
not just them.
spending money, and they already bought the product. So they're selling a dream, and they're also selling a product wholesale, and they get the money. And one of the discrepancies about this is a buyback program. I feel like the buyback program, they say, hey, if you don't sell it, we'll buy some of it back. I think that's where you get into the legal weeds, because I guarantee they've got some paperwork that lines up with their point of view.
Only X amount.
Right, which may have been gray
Quarter
in
of
some
the
areas,
price.
which is the plaintiff's point of view, so then it gets settled in court. But there is that's usually where it ends up.
Yeah, and I think that the big point of what you just said too is when these men and women sign up to do this sort of thing, when they sign up to sell, there are a ton of incentives on the front end. You buy this amount of merchandise. They're not saying if you sell all this merchandise, we're going to give you perks. They're saying if you buy it. So even in the lawsuit, they claim that they did spend maybe more than they had because they were getting bonuses, they were getting incentives.
Right.
And I think that, yes, from LuLaRoe's standpoint and from all of these types of companies' standpoint, these multi-level marketing companies, they're making a business decision for them. And if somebody buys into their product and wants to be part of it, you can read the writing, you can make your own decisions. We're not forcing you to do this.
Right.
But I think that it really needs to be made clear to the people who want to work for these types of companies, line it like in plain bright print. Show me exactly what this is going to entail, and don't hide it. Just like with the airlines, when they say that, well,
It was in fine print.
you know, we technically can overbook because there's this percent of people who don't show up. But just be honest. Just put it, and if it is somewhere, make it apparent in the beginning that you've got to be smart with your money, that you've got to make sure that you have a good business plan, and the training is going to be on this day, this day, this day to make sure you succeed.
But something we mentioned as well is that this is not the first of its kind, right?
No, of
So
course.
Shannon Gruhl-Sharp, thank you
Yep.
for chiming in. She said, this is normal. Mary Kay, Cookie Lee, she goes on to
Yep.
list some others. All encourage you to buy and show the latest and greatest. The balance of personal sales and team building is nearly impossible to find. Those who do can be very successful, but usually are the ones who got into the company early on.
Right,
Which
right.
again, talking about the pyramid
Exactly.
at the top of it there.
Yeah.
Not
So-
discouraging, because we had a story yesterday of a woman who said she made hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. So here, okay, I'm going to go Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Another.
one of the things that they sell with this is empowerment and being your own boss, right? And setting your own hours and all those things. But that's kind of a myth, because if there's a problem, you can pick up the phone call and there's someone above you that you have to answer to. There's someone that you are connected to, that your success depends on somebody else. So it feels like you're your own boss, but
You have a boss.
you you have a contract with somebody else. So it's not a true entrepreneurship, because you're actually working for somebody else.
Yeah.
So when you're approached with these different scenarios and these business ideas, you can make a lot of money. You can also lose a lot of money, but you're not doing it as you would think on your own. So in other words, if you really want to go out on a limb and have true financial independence and empowerment, if something goes wrong, you look in the mirror, and that's where it went wrong. It's your company, your business, your idea is your own, and that's way more difficult to pull off, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But there can be some big outsized rewards to it because you own it. It's your thing, and if it goes south, it's because something that happened that's related to how things worked out for you, not depending on that all of a sudden you got this great, you're a distributor and things are going well for you, and then 17 other distributors showed up in your neighborhood, and then there went all your sales.
But here's the thing, we live in an age of social media, right? So just because you have only 3 people in your region who are selling, you're competing against your aunt and your aunt's best friend who live around the world. Everyone is part of this one world, so it doesn't really matter how many people are in your network, who's in your social or your region, who's in your social network. Because how many times do I flip through my feed? I've only dipped in once ever because the girl was super intriguing when she was selling. But how many of my friends from all different walks of life?
Right.
And I don't even know about regionally. But I do want to get to this one comment, Regina L. Marqueschi. I have bought and continue to from a woman in Santa Rosa. So we'd like to hear from you, Regina, how that experience has been from the seller, from the buyer side. You know, and do you think that these lawsuits, have you ever felt like you have been affected, you know what I mean, by maybe the cost, or I don't know if someone is hurting in terms of selling an item, do they get to up the cost of it? Are you being cheated as a buyer? I'm just interested to know what the experience is like.
I know that I'm pretty sure they sell for 40% more than what they paid for the item.
So they make a 40%
So they
profit.
make, yes,
Okay.
but you're also in the hole for all the clothing until you sell it. And so you might say, yeah, I can make 40% back on this, but you also are buying 3 of every size, or 1 of every size potentially, and trying to make sure that you can sell all of that back. And a lot of people saying the buyback program is what went away. And so if that is the case, where they actually, you know, refused to receive that merchandise back at the end, and you're stuck with all of this, what do you do? I mean, as a family who, you know, you're maybe trying to support your family from home, and you're working really hard to try to do this, and you've invested all this money in your own self. What do you do if you have all this stuff that they won't take back, and at one time they told you they would?
Right, and that's where the emotional part comes into it, because they had good intentions. They wanted, what did they want? The women and men that sign up for these multi-level marketing programs, what do they really want? They want money to pay to help the family out, so that they can have more time with their family. And I don't speak for everybody, but this is the story you commonly hear. They want more time with their family, and they want to make money to make things easier so they can get ahead and have time with their family. These decisions are made from the heart.
Yeah.
That this is an opportunity that we can get more of what we want and deal with less of what we don't want. So then you make an emotional decision. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And it's usually a family decision as well. This is a lot of money. This will hit your family finances immediately. This is like buying a car for a lot of families. So it's just tough because you want everybody to do well, but the way that it's stacked up is not everybody can. It just not. A lot of people are going to lose money.
Heather Copeland-Lovick, those people are dumb for buying all that stuff. You know, once you buy it, you have to sell it, and there's always a chance it won't sell.
And then Brian Steffa says nobody's making them invest, which is true.
No one's making
them.
part of this.
But that's the problem about, you know, maybe getting into this, because it sounds like it could be too good to be true. You have a couple of friends who are doing it and they're successful. So bottom line here is do your research. Really know that if you're going to be a part of something like this, that you are taking it quite a gamble, because there's no guarantee you're going to sell all of those products, and there is typically a number that you have to meet in order to stay as a representative and to stay on with the company. It could be as low as $10 for places like Avon in some cases, or up to $5,000 for places like LuLaRoe. But to be a part of this, you're going to have to invest a lot of your own money, and then you're going to have to know that you might not make all that back and be okay with that.
Which I think is just business 101.
Yeah, and especially if you're putting up that kind of money. Because if you have to put up $5,000 up front, you gotta go in eyes wide open. That's a lot of money. Most people don't have $200 saved to disposable income. So to put up that kind of money, you gotta be aware.
The more I learn about this story, I just don't even know if I blame LuLaRoe.
No, and you know,
because it's like they're the smart ones.
Yes, and
it sucks for the people, but you gotta know before you get in. This is what you're signing up for, and hopefully it turns into that case where you're making a ton of money. But
I agree with you. I agree. I think that, you know, these companies started on the basis of probably not malintent. You know, maybe it was like, hey, I know that with LuLaRoe it started that way, where the founder said, I wanted to start this, I wanted to be there for my family. That's why I initially started this company on my own. Her mother used to make articles of clothing for them growing up, and so she decided to get into this line too.
Right.
But hold on, before you jump in, because I know you're angry. I know you are.
I'm about to drain
I know.
empty coffee cup.
I will say, I don't blame LuLaRoe for the people who bought into their their product and then failed at it. I don't necessarily blame LuLaRoe, but I do blame. Listen, I do blame.
The steam.
This is me listening.
But I do think LuLaRoe should. Trust me, I'm just as angry as you. I got a girlfriend who's waiting on $8,000.
I got
but
you.
I do think LuLaRoe needs to be accountable for providing smart training opportunities and helping along their representatives. So if they really do that, then maybe these
we've
people
heard
didn't take
from
advantage.
separate accounts that there is weekly training seminars. There are seminars that happen. There's your opinion. I'm going to be the moderator here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob. Take it away.
Yeah, let's get it.
Okay,
And
ready?
I hear you, Rob.
Let's take the brand names out of this, right?
Okay.
They're all set up differently. We can't judge them. We don't know all the details. So let's just take Company X. Company X knowingly has a business plan where 2% of people are going to make most of the money and 98% of people are not. In other words, you're going to have 2% satisfied customers, 98% not. Sorry, too bad for you. That's just the way that it works. Imagine if that was a burger company. 2% of your customers coming in are going to be happy with their burgers and 98% are not. In my opinion, yes, they're both businesses. They're both going to make money, but which one would you rather be part of? Yeah. And I'm using the 2% and the 98% because that's what the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC says, that in these multi-level marketing companies that are set up improperly, not all but some, is that most people don't make money, they lose money, and only a few percent at the top do. So that's all I'm saying is you can set up any business to make money. At the end of the day, you have to go home and live with yourself.
But do you think at the end
and
of the
again,
day,
I'm not talking about any company we talked about here. I'm talking about Company X because the bad players in that business scheme, which is illegal, they get sued and they eventually go out of business, they set up a bad system that hurt a lot of people.
Okay, but do you think that the people who buy into this also need some responsibility here?
Well,
Can you blame it all on Company
It's a
X?
choice.
yes, I can understand. That's
Especially
what
if
I'm
you're
saying.
putting up that kind of money, you have to take some responsibility.
It really is.
Let's put
It's
it
true.
in
Yes.
perspective. You got a family of 5 or 6, right? Mom, dad, it's 4 kids. And you actively take $5,000 out of your savings. Maybe you borrow it from grandma, maybe you get it from your cousin, your brother, your sister. You are actively taking that kind of money that can be used for so many things and investing it into something that not necessarily was started by yourself, but somebody that you don't even know. One. So it's not like you're buying at McDonald's where you know, okay, if I open up a McDonald's, people eat McDonald's.
A French fry is a French fry is a French fry is a French fry.
It could be one across the street. Every
not
McDonald's,
French
you can do something at McDonald's, but you're talking about clothing, which doesn't stay in style. When you talk about money and equity and investing in something, two of the things that you should not invest in, cars and clothes. You shouldn't. So when you take that kind of money and you actively invest in a business, you have to go in eyes wide shut. And if you're not able to pull it off, yes, it's a shady business structure when you think about how many people are making money and how many aren't. However, when you decide to do that, that was a decision that you made as a person on behalf of your own family.
Brian Steeves, I would like to know.
I'm not yelling, I'm just saying.
No, you're making valid points. You both have valid points, but
Here's
really
the thing.
quick.
When you make a good point, you make it loud, right? And that was a good point.
You had a good point as well, Robbie.
You did.
And people are having good points in our Facebook feed right now.
I
Brian
really wish there was
Steeves,
coffee in here.
you have a lot to say, and I appreciate this.
I just forgot to get it.
Are you one of the reps? Because this is what the last thing you said. Our success has been based off of lots of hard work and hustle. It was scary. I lost my job, and since then, it has been supporting our family. Are you referring to LuLaRoe?
Oh,
because I'd like to know. You have a lot of comments, and we want to hear from you.
Yep.
Debbie Hampton, please show me, sir, where you got this info.
Lisa just commented saying, yes, take responsibility. Any business is an investment and a risk, people. This is entrepreneurship, which is true. But remember, if you are signing up to be an independent contractor or a freelancer, and you are depending on someone else and their business model and structure to make you money, that is a bigger risk, I think, than just starting your own company. My husband and I started a company. Your wife started a company. We all know people who have done this on their own and who can take a risk and know because you see the numbers, you see the facts and figures, and you can create your own business model. But when you are an independent contractor, being very independent and having your own free time, but you're working for someone else's business model.
Yes, you guys don't have bosses, and maybe your wife. But
yeah.
you guys
Rob definitely has a boss.
Dina's definitely the boss.
Definitely has a boss.
Debbie Hampton, why are people, and it never used to be this way, she says in parentheses, so quick to sue anyone and everyone instead of looking at their own responsibility? No one made them. That is ridiculous.
I hear you.
One comment there.
I hear you.
Alyssa Hidalgo, the clothing is way overpriced for my taste. $35 for a t-shirt with ugly prints, ? Regina, I don't feel cheated. And she was the one that said that she buys from the person in Santa Rosa. So she does not feel cheated. She feels like it's quality and she happens to like the design. That's the other thing about style. I'm very much into style, but I have my own style. So I can sit here and say, I'm not attracted to the clothes, but that's fine. What I always talk about in my little style guide videos on my Instagram account is that style is in the eye of the beholder, good style. So someone could say, Megan, I hate that, but I could sit in it and be like, I feel so good in this jacket. So the fact that people are, commenting on the design of it, it is definitely for some people. And you just have to know your audience. It's not for the people who follow me, so I won't be selling anytime soon, but just know your audience. And this could be the problem, is that people are investing in all of this money in clothes that have one specific style, hoping that everyone's going to like it, but your audience could just not be into the clothes.
And maybe you're just not good at selling. Again, yesterday I gave the example, you go to those conferences again, and they hold up the pen and they say, sell me this pen in 10, 15 seconds. Some people can't do that in 5 minutes. Some people are just really good at it. So maybe it's as simple as you're really great at selling and you suck at selling.
Yeah, the person who said, why are we so Sue happy? Especially living in California, I feel like we hear that a lot. But I do want to break down a little bit about what the lawsuit claims, because this might give you some perspective as to why these people felt like they had a case to make. Consultants were told that they should have at least 10 items in every size in all styles. This was their magic number. So if they are being pushed to have 10 items in every size, say there's 4 sizes, there's 40 items, they're asked to keep about $20,000 worth of inventory at a time. So what the lawsuit is claiming is that they were asked to take on way too much, more than they could sell.
So they should be advised to take
yes, so maybe the company should restructure it from there, is why they're suing for that purpose.
And they have restructured. Herbalife got railed, and they restructured, and they're still around. So, I mean, and Avon's still around, Arbonne's still around, so maybe it's a restructuring thing. Who knows? Or maybe they're totally in the right. I don't know.
We'll keep you posted on what the Sacramento plaintiffs have to say, but go ahead.